Hello, students. My name is Professor Patty Napolitano, and I will be your guide this semester for Social Work 505 General Practice with Individuals and Families. We are in an online course, section 612, and you should be able to find everything you need here within our amazing, incredible Blackboard Ultra. I have gone ahead and hidden Cengage and MindTap from you because I have been teaching this course since 2018, and there is not 1 year that I have gotten the grade book to line up for this course. So we are working from MindTap, Cengage, where we have all of these chapters and all of these assignments. This textbook is where you are going to be submitting all of your assignments this semester. This Blackboard folder is where you're going to receive information about which week we're in, what courses we're working on, but most of your work will actually be done here in the MindTap folder or in the MindTap textbook. So hopefully you have already gone through and purchased or rented for the semester, but we're going to open our syllabus and start right at the top. So you've got office hours. If you'd like, you can schedule with me. I think most of you probably are familiar with Calendly links. This is Motion. It's a similar kind of software where you can just get on my calendar. So I am a social worker. I am a trainer. I am a therapist. I run a number of different roles in social work, but really, I love educating, and I am trained as an educator. So I hope that you will help me teach you. This is mostly a self-guided course. Most of my students get A's without ever having to talk with me, but I'm hoping that you will go ahead and get on my calendar and schedule some office hours so that we can talk about the way that you're applying these in your field and in your upcoming career, because that is a part of my job I really like. You can email me or text me. That is my work cell phone. So if you text me, I will check it. That's not even the right number. If you text me, I will check it during work hours, which is not nights, weekends, or when I'm on break or you're on break. Oops. Blazing ahead, we have our course key that's going to link you to my grade book where you will submit assignments to me as your professor for this course, social work. We're trying to learn theories, models, modalities, strategies, and techniques used in working with individuals and families in their environment. We have our 9 social work competencies that are in line with the state of Ohio social work licensure, as well as the National Council on Social Work Education Standards and the Association of Social Work Board Standards. So CSWE is the Council on Social Work Education. CSWE provides regulations for us nationally so that we have a nationally certified license, which really helps in social work since we are working on our 7th state interstate compact. That means with our Ohio license, we can practice states in multiple states. We can apply for licensure in multiple states because we do have these common competencies that we're learning. So the competencies that we are learning are listed here. And we are going to be practicing them in different assignments in different chapters throughout the course of this semester. Our textbook we've already got. We have some expectations, which I know you're just going to absolutely love. If you have not asked for accommodations for religious or disability, Office of Disability Services, Office of Institutional Equity, and religious accommodations. In your version of the syllabus, this may not be page 6 of 16. The conversion Word to PDF changes the pages, but this is the bottom of page 6 on my Word document, where you can see if you have something like let's think of an example. I often receive Office of Disability Services requests for students who have migraines, who maybe will not be able to look at a computer screen from 5 p.m. to midnight on a Friday night when things are due, and they need an extension without having something punitive. So I have not received any ODS, OIE, or religious accommodation requests via email, but you do not need to request those from me directly. You can ask the CSU educational folks, and they will be a liaison, so those accommodations can be made fairly and objectively, and to help you learn and build your skills in the ways that help you most. Now, every Friday night, we will have quizzes due in the textbook. So starting here this week, we're just going over the syllabus, module 1. Next week is actually module 2, which is week 2, but it's chapter 1. So there's PowerPoints, readings, and polling activities. These activities, while they are listing in here, they are supposed to take you to the chapter within the textbook, but Cengage paid for what they paid for. So they have not seen fit to change things to make them accessible to me. So chapter 1, how do we tell what we are supposed to complete in this textbook? So we're going to go ahead to week 2, chapter 1, and we're going to look at your syllabus. Quizzes, assignments, case study analysis. These are all things that will be due. Week 1, we're just doing our course introduction, and you're introducing yourselves on Blackboard. Week 2, we're working on chapter 1, which the topic that we're covering is direct practice, and there are 3 activities listed here: a polling activity, a quiz, and reflection questions. Now, if you go over to Blackboard, what is listed is there's a PowerPoint, there's the reading, a polling activity, a quiz, and a reflection. So you see polling activity, quiz, and reflection. Your polling activity, your quiz, and your reflection are also listed on your syllabus, and those are the things that are going to be due that week, okay? Unfortunately, because of MindTap and Blackboard, I can't even get into all of it. You will not see grades transfer over into your grade book. And it's like so many activities. And that's okay, because I will be giving you point totals at midterm, at the time of the midterm, which we're going to go back up here. We have quizzes every week. We have assignments every week. Those are inside of your textbook, your MindTap textbook. You have a midterm that's going to be due October 17th, and that is going to be a case study analysis where I give you 1 or 2 pages of a description of a person or a family, and you're going to respond in a Word document with bullet points. We're going to go over that later, right? It's not going to be inside your textbook. You're going to turn it in within Blackboard. So case study is due October 17th. We're going to skip ahead to that week. October 17th should be week. When is our midterm due? Midterm 8. This is the week of October 17th. So this week, week 8, we're going to go to our content. And in module 8, we can see our midterm case study analysis. You're not going to be able to see this because all you will see, start preview, is the current week that is open. It's saved as me. You should really only be seeing start here in module 1 this week. I love this. There's nothing about Blackboard I don't love. Seamless. So module 8 will be open, and there's release, so it will open that Saturday night at midnight, and it will close that Friday night, October 17th at 11:59. And you got instructions, an outline, an example, 2 different studies to choose from. You can choose 1 or 2, and then this is where you turn it in. So we've got instructions that you will be able to see. This is the outline that you're filling out to submit. So you can write this up. When it says APA style must be written in APA style, that is the Council on Social Work Education standard. I have yet to take off points for incorrect formatting. So if you're concerned about what if it's MLS 7 or can I use Son of Citation Machine, the APA style means that the relevant concerns to be addressed at the micro, meso, macro levels, I could write APA style and cite the textbook Hepworth and Rooney micro definition, meso definition, macro definition. I am less concerned with research standards. This is not like paragraphs and paragraphs that I'm looking for. I do not need this to be a 15-page paper. This is an outline that indicates to me that you've read it and your overview is 2 to 3 sentences. I don't need paragraphs and paragraphs of sentences. The midterm case analysis is very similar to our final case analysis. This is the final. So your midterm, you're going to read the case studies, you're going to fill out the outline, you're going to submit within Blackboard, and then you'll get feedback from me. And you're probably going to get 20 out of 20 points. And I do give feedback and comments on those analysis midterm papers within Blackboard, so that when you go to turn in your final case study, you already know my format. It's copying it, and you're going to have a case study and then go a little bit further. So this is the last week. So we're going to go to the last module. This is the midterm. We have a case analysis. I want you to look at this case analysis. We have 5 points and it's an outline. Case study intro, research informed practice, exploration, engagement, assessment, and planning. Those 3 sections, right? Let's look at the final and what we have to do. The final case study analysis. Instructions. This is a case study introduction, research-informed practice, exploration, engagement, assessment, and planning. Do you see how it's the same structure? So it's not the same case, but we talk about social work competencies 1 through 9, and we say you can use these with individuals, you can use these with families, you can use these with groups, you can use these with adults, with special populations. That's why social work is a nebulous degree. And this is the competencies and the skills that you're practicing. You're practicing assessing individuals, families, and groups. You're practicing reading a case study or watching a video and thinking about how would you intervene in this unique situation. And then for the final exam, we ask you goal setting and evaluation. How do you evaluate your practice? Okay, so when you are filling out your learning contracts, which all of you will be going into a field, these are the competencies that will be on your learning contracts. Is how are you going to demonstrate ethical and professional behavior? Write 2 to 3 sentences. We also have many papers within the social work program here at Cleveland State, where within each course, we're asking you, how did you develop these skills through this assignment or through this reading or through this skill practice in your internship? So there are professors here who really focus on research. And there are professors here who really focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there's professors here who really focus on assessment techniques, right? My focus is developing clinicians who have accessible language. I will tell you, as I have been doing community intervention, all of this language feels very distant to my families and my individuals. If I were to go into a group setting to try to gain volunteers for an initiative, one of my nonprofit initiatives. Let's say I'm trying to gain volunteers for a farmer's market food pantry. And I introduced myself at a lunch. I would say, hello, my name is Patty Napolitano, and I'm going to talk with you today about competency 4, engaging in practice-informed research and research-informed practice in the field of. No, I don't talk about those things, right? When I'm speaking at lunch, I say, hi, welcome. My students like to call me Professor Pat. I've got a big Italian name, right? I explain in terms that lower the bar, lower the barrier, place myself in a position of curiosity and humility. So when I am grading all of your assignments throughout this entire textbook, what I'm looking for is that when you are responding to assignments within the chapter, this is a video activity, working with Yanping. We have, I'm going to play this video. This is an example of it, and then we're going to skip ahead to where the question is. These are the videos that are throughout our textbook, are examples of actors acting out some of the scenarios you'll see play out through the chapters. But this is Yanping. This is the pretend patient Yanping, the pretend client Yanping, and the pretend social. So you can feel. So these are not mental health sessions. This is not therapy. This is not case management. This is not suicide intervention. This is not substance abuse treatment. This is not medically billable, right? Social work is present in so many fields, and obtaining a master's in social work allows you to practice independently as a mental health worker. I really want to make a point that I'm not looking for you to explain the therapy techniques you're going to work with Yanping on, because that's not what they're talking about at all. This is introductory language. This is not for you to demonstrate that you know what the diagnosis is or that you can formally assess that. These assessments, I want to see that you have heard it and that you're using simple language your patient will understand. So she's going to come in, Kim, ask some questions. What would you like me ahead and get to this Kim line? Or I would share it information if I were concerned that you were putting yourself or somebody else at risk. The first social worker value that social worker was saying, she said something about if you would put yourself at risk. What is she addressing with her? Is she talking about acceptance? I will accept you. Is she saying mutual participation, that you need to be able to state and I go back? No, she's talking about confidentiality, right? So there's questions throughout here that will be multiple choice. Feeling, I want to adjust, but cannot deal with it. With the day nearby, the day who have been through these kinds of challenges with your parents. It's all day, and I don't. Right. So it's always there on your mind, it sounds like. So we do them all, and then we submit answer, and it tells me which ones are correct or incorrect, and I can change it before I submit for grading. It's going to give you warnings if you've not completed all your assignments, and it's going to give you a score. So I wanted to show you that because you are not going to see a score in Blackboard in your grade book that you had completed that, even though I did the roles, and there's 3 points. But you will be able to see it in your MindTap textbook. Now, answer the question, 15 minutes, that's a multiple choice. In every single chapter, you're going to have information. You will be reading through. There's some hyperlinks. You can change your text size. You can have it read aloud. Some people like to print out. I will say it is much cheaper to purchase a hard copy used version of this textbook than it is to use your print balance to print all these sheets out. I am showing you all of the questions right now, but I would like to show you the other kind of response. Okay, so this is the other kinds of responses that we will have.
Thank you for seeing me.
Erica, he talks with you about what's happening. Erica gives you their perspective on what's happening. And there are reflection. Which of the 3 core functions will you perform as Erica's social worker? Well, there's core functions that should be in your textbook for the week, and maybe you look through for some core functions. But the core functions, I would say, I think about the roles of social work. So I would say I'm going to be an advocacy, broker, and a linkage. I don't know. I'm guessing. But do you see how it asks for 3 core functions and I gave 3 words? I don't need you to give a whole lot before or after. Which competencies apply to Erica in your work with this client? I'm going to look at the competencies and I'm going to say that I want to demonstrate ethical and responsible or ethical and responsible professional behavior, right? Refer to patient by their preferred name and identity. Maybe you'll think of some ways that this person could advance human rights, engage in anti-racism or diversity, equity, inclusion, engage in practice. Not all of them are going to apply to every single one. But if you gave me this, you would get full credit for that response. I don't need you to give me all 9 of them, but I would love it if you took this statement, demonstrate ethical and professional behavior, and you translated it into an accessible sentence for your patient. If I told Erica, I'm really motivated to demonstrate ethical and professional behavior here, that is not immediately clear what I'm talking about. And so because it is not clear, as the social worker, I am going to take ownership of that communication and say it's going to be clearer communication if I say to this patient, I prefer to refer to you by the name that you are comfortable with. I will demonstrate ethical behavior by working with the identity that you feel most comfortable with. In what ways can you demonstrate competence and sensitivity to Erica's differences? Well, I just said that, didn't I? I will take time to be mindful of how my responses can be overly vague and be consciously direct in my cultural humility. I love that word, cultural humility. I'm going to save those answers, submit. Your reflection answers are what is due. That is it. When you see that you have to add a video, that's a part of your syllabus. That's only 1 week long, your video recording helper studio activity. So that is due November 7th. And if you have a response that says add video, that's your indication. Oh, Professor Patty says it's not due. Because the helper studio, which is assignment 4, we're going to go all the way down on the assignments. We have longer descriptions of assignment 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Okay. For the video activity, there are 4 weeks you can choose from. So on that week, you pick one of these and you can respond to Erica, Carl, Marty, or Barbara. It makes no difference to me. Some people just like some more than others. Maybe you watch all of them and pick the one that's going to be hardest, because you're going to be able to see one another's videos and respond to them. And I have a different video on how to respond, how to complete those activities. All right, so we've talked about our weekly quizzes. No, we've talked about our weekly assignments. We haven't talked about the weekly quizzes. Let's go over those. Our weekly quiz, did I get it? Here's another lovely thing I'd like you to see. Did I get it? I can save, just select whatever. If I accidentally skipped a few and I try to submit it, there's a warning that pops up. The other thing that happens in the quiz is question by question, I can check my work and see that it's incorrect. So I hope that you can see that it should be pretty easy to get a 10 out of 10 on that assignment. So these have been submitted, and the score is waiting because it has gone into my grade book, which I cannot show you right now because there's student names in it. And I need to go in, open, and release it. So within your textbook, you have what am I learning, which is your reading in every week. You have some polling activities that don't count towards your grade, but I don't know, they're great questions. I like reading content. And let me see. The other thing I want to make sure you know is that you do not need to fill out every single chapter. We go through chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 19. So there are more chapters than that, but there's a lot of reading. There's a lot you're taking in, and many of you are taking 3 other courses as well. Yeah, I can't think of what else I may have forgotten, but if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that you all will let me know if there's something I've forgotten. Chapter 1 assignments are due September 6th, and we're going to have some rockin' lectures. So I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you. Feel free to email and text me if you're not getting through on email or haven't gotten a response. It does not offend me, upset me, or violate my sense of duty or whatever. If you text me and say, hi, I haven't heard back. If it's been 3 or 4 days or a week or you're nervous, I will see the text probably more often than I'll see the email because I don't work full-time for CSU. And I check my work texts every day that I'm working, which is like 3 to 7 days a week. I do not respond to student emails on Friday afternoons. I know that that is a common time that we are running into tech issues and permission issues and submission issues because chapter assignments are due Friday evenings. If you run into an issue, email my CSU email, and it's time and date stamped that you let me know ahead of time that you are having problems. We do have late assignment policies. I will say that generally, if we have problems with tardiness, and you're reaching out and we're trying to get it in, the really big difference in that kind of a grade is that if you get 100% on everything, you are not going to get an A, because the students who turn everything in on time have attained superior graduate achievement, right? So if you get everything turned in and it's all kind of late and you don't have an Office of Disability accommodation, you can expect to get an A- or a B at best in this course. I'm not really punitive. I don't like to give people C's. I know that that's a problem for getting into the CSU social work program in later semesters. And most people either get an A in this course or they get an F in this course because they were not able to turn in the work or withdraw in time. If you are going through this course and you're starting to get behind and you're concerned you won't get it done on time, well, let me know. Reach out. We can problem solve. I'm probably going to be problem solving about try to spend 2 hours a week in your course. I will tell you, I've been teaching this since 2018 using this online textbook, and my students who get A's spend between 30 and 40 hours in the textbook. So that means they're spending about an hour a week. So if you plan for 2 hours every single week, you're going to be ahead, which you may turn things in ahead in your textbook. And you can, not worry about it. You can be done fast. This is one of the courses that gets taught in the summer and has been taught as a half semester 8-week course. So if you are so inclined to just blast right ahead, you are welcome to, but you're going to miss out on the fun. You're going to miss out on the lectures. So yeah, stay strong, hang in there, and I'll be having a great time getting to know you this semester. Thanks.